The Sony Spider-Verse right now is a little bit of a mess. Madam Web is coming out soon, and you might have heard that apparently they originally planned for Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man to be in the film, but then they wanted Tom Holland's Spider-Man to be in the film, but then they realized that they got some timelines mixed up and then they couldn't put anything about Spider-Man in it at all. According to some insiders, Spider-Man really isn't mentioned. He's kind of hinted at, and there is a famous Spider-Man line dropped in there, except it's kind of reversed. According to the insider Cryptic HD Quality, the new line is going to be, when you take responsibility, you will gain powerful abilities. According to the same insider, the line was then changed to, when you take on the responsibility, great power will come. Changing a classic Spider-Man line, still no Spider-Man in the movie, but one thing is for certain, Sony will continue to make Spider-Man films, whether it's about Spider-Man specifically or spin-offs. And they are basically doing both with a new project that is reportedly in development right now over at Sony. According to some insiders, Sony is developing a rated R movie focusing around a Spider-Man character. This is believed to be an animated movie, and it's believed to be about Spider-Punk. Out of all of the projects that they could have done, this is probably the most exciting project that we've got from Sony in a pretty decent time. And if you are not aware, Sony does have somewhat of a plan for what they want to do with their live-action Sony Spider-Verse and their animated Spider-Verse. There has been talks of the two universes crossing over, especially since Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, where they essentially showed us the Spider-Verse, the multiverse. Now, there are talks of the Spider-Verse bleeding over into the MCU, since the MCU is in the multiverse saga right now, and the tree that they showed in Across the Spider-Verse seems to be really similar to the Yggdrasil tree that Loki created at the end of Loki Season 2. That is certainly exciting, but they're also about to dive deeper into the web of the multiverse with Madam Web. According to insiders, Madam Web exists in its own universe, meaning it's not the universe that Andrew Garfield is in, it's not the universe that Tobey Maguire is in, and it is most certainly not the MCU, which Tom Holland is in. But according to V-Scooper and Cryptic HD Quality, Madam Web will essentially show us the Spider-Verse timelines in the form of a web. They state, Madam Web enters a realm similar to this, showing this picture, called the Web. She can use it to see the future and be in more than one place at once. It's probably the Spider-Verse timelines in the form of a web. Now, even with this knowledge, a lot of people are stating that they don't really want Madam Web to connect to the animated Spider-Verse. What they would really like is for Beyond the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse to connect to the MCU's multiverse, which again could very well happen, but what Sony is really doing here is establishing the multiverse on their side. They've already done a great job with that with the Into the Spider-Verse movies, and now it seems like they are attempting to do it in live action. And one thing that they are going to do now, it sounds like, is they are going to branch off from the Into the Spider-Verse movies. And now they're going to make spin-offs of characters from that franchise, which makes sense because that is by far the most successful Spider-Man related project outside of Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the MCU that they have done. And as far as characters to pick to get their own story outside of Miles Morales and Spider-Gwen, I think Spider-Punk is a great choice. I think he was a fantastic character in Across the Spider-Verse. It's also a very different character than a lot of people are really used to. And the fact that it is reportedly going to be rated R means that they could really make a pretty killer movie and give him all the attitude that he deserves to have. Now, this report is coming from the insider Mind Time to Shine Hello, that Sony is making an animated rated R film. Once this news came out, a lot of insiders started posting GIFs of Spider-Punk. Alex Perez from the Cosmic Circus is one of them, widely making the internet believe that this is indeed going to be a Spider-Punk rated R movie. And it has fans excited because we could see what Spider-Punk was up to in his universe, what his universe actually looks like, and we might even dive deeper into the relationship that he's had with Spider-Gwen. This certainly is an interesting idea, and I will certainly watch this, but we have reason to believe that the Spider-Verse and the multiverse, kind of on Sony's part, is about to get a lot bigger. They're about to dive a lot deeper into it. Alex Perez recently posted on Twitter, everyone always asks the wrong question about Beyond the Spider-Verse. Instead of asking when it's coming out, you should ask what lies beyond the Spider-Verse. He then stated the answer to the previous question is the Spot. Well, we know the Spot discovered essentially the multiverse. Now keep in mind that everything that we've seen in Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse has been Spider-Man focused. The universes have all been about a Spider-Man variant or iteration, essentially involving the Spider-Verse specifically. The multiverse, however, could involve other aspects now, meaning they could go over into other universes that may not have a Spider-Man iteration or variant in them. This could be Kraven the Hunter, it could be Madam Web, or it could even be the MCU. And keep in mind, Sony has already confirmed they are doing a live-action Miles Morales and a live-action Spider-Gwen. They haven't really shared any details about them, but they have said that that's in development right now. This is coming directly from Amy Pascal, an executive producer. Again, they haven't really given any details about this, but insiders have come out and stated that Miles Morales is planned for the MCU. And a lot of people are wondering if this is going to be the same man from the Spider-Verse, the animated Spider-Verse. Some fans are even asking if what lies beyond the Spider-Verse is really the MCU, specifically for Miles Morales, because this kind of links back to a theory that I've had about the reboot of the MCU. And a lot of people have been having this theory as well, since we know it's not going to be a full hard reboot, a restart of the MCU, only a soft one, and characters who have been in the MCU are going to remain, but not all of them, and new characters are going to come in as well. That means that universes could collide in Avengers Secret Wars. So post Avengers Secret Wars, when the soft reboot happens, the new MCU that we have, the main timeline, could be a universe that consists of many different universes. So what if Marvel and Sony decided to fuse together another extremely successful Spider-Man, Miles Morales from the animated Spider-Verse? And before you think this is too crazy, keep in mind, this is essentially what they did with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Sony was going to make the Amazing Spider-Man 3 with Andrew Garfield. In fact, how Spider-Man came into the MCU all started with Amy Pascal calling Kevin Feige over, their old colleagues who worked together for a while, asking for his help for Spider-Man 3. And Kevin Feige said, "You can't do it. It's not going to be successful. Let the MCU do it. Let me do it. It'll be better and we'll both have massive success." And that's eventually what happened. They did have massive success with Tom Holland's Spider-Man and Captain America Civil War, then Homecoming, then Far From Home, and No Way Home. Sony saw more success with Spider-Man than they have ever had in the past. And what if they're looking to do that again? Now, the split would obviously be very, very different and they would not abandon the animated Spider-Verse altogether. But keep in mind, there are many, many, many different universes in the Spider-Verse. And the universe that Miles Morales comes from is only one universe. And Sony is probably thinking that they could really cash in on Miles Morales by moving him into live action, having him be a part of the MCU like Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and have even more crazy amounts of success, while at the same time maintaining the animated Spider-Verse, maybe focusing on Spider-Gwen and characters like Spider-Punk with these spin-off movies. It's certainly a possibility, and I do think that fans would really love to see a connectivity between specifically the animated Spider-Verse, not necessarily the Spider-Verse as a whole from Sony, but the Into the Spider-Verse films that we have come to know and love. They would love to see that crossover with them and the MCU. But let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comments down below. If Sony makes a rated R Spider-Punk animated movie, would you watch it? And would you like the animated Miles Morales to cross over into live action in the MCU? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you can stay up to date on all things in the MCU. And of course, over at the Spider-Verse at Sony. And if you subscribe and leave a comment, you are entered in our giveaway for a chance to win an Xbox Series X, a PS5, some Marvel Legends items, and some DC items. The winner picks one item, and we pick one winner at the end of each month. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.